Hey, welcome to Unit 4, Part 2. We're going to start with the listening. Crazy, but true. So we're going to listen to the audio a couple of times, and then we're going to take some notes. Okay, so you have to keep in mind what happened, when did it happen, where did it happen, when, and what happened in each of the three recordings. And so we're going to listen to it twice. Here we go.
Page 24. Exercise 5. Listening. Crazy but true. Part A. Listen to 3 news stories. Number the pictures from 1 to 3. There is one extra picture. 1.
A teenager's soccer game in Australia took an unexpected turn on Saturday when an escaped bull decided to join the game. The players were running toward the goal when the bull charged the field. It began chasing the 14-year-old boy who had the ball. Luckily, the boy was fast and managed to get out of the way. Apparently bored with the soccer game, the bull left the field as suddenly as it had entered it, leaving players and viewers shocked at what they had just witnessed.
2.
A 19-year-old by the name of Matt is lucky to be alive and well. Matt was watching TV at his grandmother's home in Missouri last Thursday when a terrible storm started. While he was talking to his grandmother, the storm intensified into a tornado, ripping the walls off the house and sucking him in. The tornado took Matt over 1,300 feet before dropping him in an abandoned field. After flying through the air at 150 miles per hour, it's safe to say that Matt had the ride of his life.
3.
Early Tuesday morning in Ontario, 2 police officers were chasing a car thief when they suddenly lost control of their vehicle and drove into a river. Surprisingly, the thief went back to the scene of the accident and helped rescue the officers from the river. The local police department dropped all charges against the thief for saving the officers' lives.
Okay, excellent. So you have to number pictures 1 to 3 depending on which one matches the account. And remember, there's an extra picture. And now what we're going to do is we're going to listen to it again. I mean, you can go ahead and double check the numbers, but also now to say where it happened, when, and what. Okay, so here we go.
Page 24. Exercise 5. Listening. Crazy but true. Part B. Listen again. Take notes on each story. 1.
A teenager's soccer game in Australia took an unexpected turn on Saturday when an escaped bull decided to join the game. The players were running toward the goal when the bull charged the field. It began chasing the 14-year-old boy who had the ball. Luckily, the boy was fast and managed to get out of the way. Apparently bored with the soccer game, the bull left the field as suddenly as it had entered it, leaving players and viewers shocked at what they had just witnessed.
2.
A 19-year-old by the name of Matt is lucky to be alive and well. Matt was watching TV at his grandmother's home in Missouri last Thursday when a terrible storm started. While he was talking to his grandmother, the storm intensified into a tornado, ripping the walls off the house and sucking him in. The tornado took Matt over 1,300 feet before dropping him in an abandoned field. After flying through the air at 150 miles per hour, it's safe to say that Matt had the ride of his life.
3.
Early Tuesday morning in Ontario, 2 police officers were chasing a car thief when they suddenly lost control of their vehicle and drove into a river. Surprisingly, the thief went back to the scene of the accident and helped rescue the officers from the river. The local police department dropped all charges against the thief for saving the officers' lives.
Well, that was nice of them, dropping the charges. All right, very good. So remember, just write down where it happened, when it happened, and what happened. And all of these are supposedly true. We'll talk about it. I'm actually going to leave you a couple of videos. One is not true. One is from the movie Twister from the mid 90s. I think it's like 95 or 96, about tornadoes. And the other one is in Australia. It's not a bull. It's a kangaroo that interrupted a soccer game. So I'll go ahead and link those two videos below. Then we'll talk about this third one or this one on during class. All right. So depending on which ones happen to happen, we'll go ahead and talk about those. Okay. Next, however, we have the writing, and it's super simple. Super simple. It says, think of a story that happened to you or to someone you know. Choose one of the titles below or create your own. A scary experience. I was really lucky. I'll never forget that day. I can't believe it happened. Okay. For example, I was really lucky. Last year, I took a trip to see my grandparents. I was waiting in the airport for my flight when a storm hit and all the flights were canceled. Luckily, I, hadn't taken off yet, whatever. But it doesn't have to be very long. And I'll do the same one, what is it? That was really lucky? I was really lucky. I was really lucky. I was walking home from the bus stop when I saw a 50 peso bill on the floor. I picked it up and unfolded it to find it was 3 50 peso bills for a total of 150 pesos. I looked around to see if anyone was close by. When I saw I was alone, I kept the money. I was really lucky. True story. And I found 20 peso bills, 10 peso coins, things like that. Just looking at the floor because there's so many holes and ditches and tree roots that you can trip on that I look at the ground a lot and I find money. So really short, really simple. Or maybe it was something scary, or maybe it was something very special. First date, a school dance, whatever. Right? But it's really, really easy. Okay. And just answer these questions. Who was involved? I was. When did it happen? I didn't really say that, but you could say something like 2 years ago. Now this is going on 3 years when it happened. From the bus stop to my house. And then what happened? Okay, so as long as you answer the 4 questions, you should be okay. And then we'll go ahead and share a couple of these stories. Very, very simple and straightforward. But what we're going to do now is we're going to listen to the conversation. Right? Unit 4, page 25. Section 7, conversation. Sorry, I had to do that. It's a bad habit. So we're going to listen to Carol and Milo talk about what happened to him. Or is it her? What happened to Carol? Yeah. Okay, so let's see what's going on in this one.
Page 25. Exercise 7. Conversation. That's terrible. Part A. Listen and practice.
Guess what? Someone stole my new bike yesterday.
Oh no, what happened?
Well, I was having lunch with a friend, and I had parked it on the street, just like I always do. When I came back, someone had stolen it. I guess I'd forgotten to lock it up.
That's terrible. Did you report the theft to the police?
Yes, I did. And I also listed it on that site for stolen and lost bikes. But I doubt I'll ever get it back.
Someone stole her bicycle, and we need to find out what happened after that. So it says, listen to the rest of the conversation. What did Milo have stolen once? Where was he? So let's see what happened to Milo.
Page 25. Exercise 7. Part B. Listen to the rest of the conversation. What did Milo have stolen once? Where was he?
I had something similar happen last year.
Really?
Yeah, it was when I was overseas. I was on my way to the airport, so I was standing on the side of the road with my bags, trying to figure out the bus schedule. Anyway, this group of guys came by and asked if they could help me. Their English wasn't very clear, and I couldn't really understand what they were saying. Finally, they left, and when I looked down, I realized my carry-on bag had disappeared. It had my wallet in it with all my money, my credit card, and my phone. Luckily, I had put my airline ticket and my passport in my backpack.
How awful. So what did you do?
I went inside a restaurant and asked to use their phone. First, I called the police and reported the theft. Then I called my credit card company. I was able to get some cash, and by the time I got home, I had a new credit card waiting for me.
Okay, so what did Milo have stolen? What was in it? Right, so he had several things stolen because something was taken, had things inside. Luckily, he was able to keep what? He had something on him and what was waiting for him when he got home. So just keep those things in mind. And as I've told you guys, these conversations and perspectives usually lead to a grammar focus. And in this case, it's the past perfect. So already looked at the past continuous and the simple past as to when we use which. And now here is the past perfect. And it says you have to use it when it's an event that occurred before another event in the past. I was having lunch. I had parked it, right? On the street. When I came back, someone had stolen it. So past continuous, but this action was before that. Simple past, this action was before that. Simple past, they were able to steal it because I had forgotten to lock it up. The locking of the bike was supposed to happen before the event, right? Had she locked it, they wouldn't have stolen it. So this always happens before. So we looked at our examples of before that we have a while I, and then something in past continuous. While I was studying, my phone rang because it's the action that interrupts it. And I can say, I had forgotten to turn it off. While I was studying, my phone rang. I had forgotten to turn it off. So here we see all three in action. Turning it off, I was supposed to turn it off before I started studying. So it's before the action of it ringing and before the action of me studying. That's why it is in past perfect. like the previous video, I will go ahead and link a couple of past perfect exercises, online exercises for you to practice if you guys want to. But fortunately, these aren't so difficult. And they actually tell us, they give us the choice. Oh, and there are the answers again. Yay. Okay, so took or had taken, didn't travel or hadn't traveled. So you just have to pick between simple past and the past perfect, or simple past and past continuous. So again, what happened first? What interrupted the action? If there's something that interrupted the action, and then what happened well before all of these things in past perfect. Okay, so go ahead and work through these. I apologize about that. My dog started barking, so I had to kick him out of the room. Okay, so just complete those. And it says complete the sentences with your own ideas. These right here. Until last year, I had never eaten chocolate ice cream. So we already have the had right here. So we just use the past participle. If we do my notations really quickly. I had never eaten chocolate ice cream. Okay. So it can be real or imagined. Chocolate ice cream happens to be my favorite, so obviously I have had it before. One day, as I was eating chocolate ice cream, I found 20 pesos on the floor. Right? So it doesn't have to be overly complicated. Something fairly simple and straightforward, but just your own ideas using past continuous, simple past, past perfect. So very, very, very simple and straightforward. Moving on, we have word power. We have our vocabulary. So we have coincidence, dilemma, disaster, emergency, lucky break, mishap. So this is mishap. Even though it's one word, it's not going to be mishap. That's a big no-no. So you say it as if it were two words. Let me grab my notation again. Bring it up. So this one, you're going to pronounce it mishap. Okay. What other thing, and it's not a good thing, starts with miss? Okay. Think of something that maybe you wish you hadn't done, and that's why it's a miss something, mishap. Okay. Sometimes it's not on purpose. Actually, most of the time it's not on purpose. That's why it's a mishap. So think about that one. Mystery and triumph. Okay. So if you have any issues with these, go ahead and leave them blank, but try and work through them, A through H. There shouldn't be a problem. And then kind of like the writing section, it says choose one kind of event from part A. Write a situation for it. write a situation for it. So think of a time that you had a mystery on your hands, right? Remember the Ted Nancy letter to Nordstrom, the store manager? She had a mystery on her hands that she had to decipher and isolate, and she was perplexed by it. So, or maybe when you had a lucky break, if you didn't choose that from the writing, how about when you had a dilemma? We had a coincidence happen. How about a disaster? We had one in Mexico City 3 years ago. So what do you guys remember from that? Or how about a triumph? School tournament or something with if you do sports. Okay. So again, something really quickly on one of these. And then we'll share in class. Because our speaking, have you ever experienced the events in exercise 9? So we're going to do this as a class. Okay, so once you do your exercise 9, we're going to share if you've ever had any of these. So pick one. Maybe have 2 stories ready. In one of the classes, somebody was like, I was going to answer that, and they took it from me. So be ready with more than one in case someone takes your answer or your experience. If it's different enough, then maybe you still want to share it, even if it's still a coincidence or a dilemma. Okay. Like, I couldn't pick between chocolate ice cream and cajeta ice cream. That was my dilemma. Mexican problems. What can you say? So pick that, and then we'll do the reading. We'll do the reading in class during our session. Once again, here are the questions. Read the article, find the words in italics in the article, then check the meaning of each word. So what does inaccurate mean? Satirical, reputation, massive, irresistible, and verification. Is it Robert Palmer, the rocker? He's got a song, Simply Irresistible. It's actually not bad. Very 80s, but very cool. Okay. And then we'll discuss the questions. Do you think you would have believed the story about selfies and headlights? Do you think the creation of the story was justified or not? So this is something that's really serious because here's the reading. Let me pull out a little bit so you guys can see the whole thing. It's about trusting sources. So we already talked about, like, where do we get our news from? So believing more than we should. So here's the reading. If you guys want to pause it and read it. Now you guys have the heading. Let me move it on up just a tad. There we go. You can read the whole thing and maybe answer the questions. Okay. And we'll go over that. Fake news, how it's being more prevalent, how social media is making it worse. Okay. So we'll discuss this in class. That's really the video. So I'm going to link down the exercises for past perfect in the description below. And I'm also going to include the videos of the kangaroo and from the movie Twister. And we can talk about those as well. So I will see you guys tomorrow.